Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving into something absolutely wild. We are unpacking a psychological blueprint derived directly from some of the most intense, high-stakes success stories out there. We're talking about individuals who faced completely impossible odds. You know, people who were grinding away in total obscurity for years or just physically pushing their bodies way past the breaking point. And what the data and the stories in our source material reveal today isn't just, a bunch of motivational fluff. It's actually a highly structured, almost mathematical approach to completely defying reality. We're going to look at exactly how these high achievers organize their minds and their lives to literally construct a miracle. And it all begins right here with this specific, incredibly powerful question. Our source material highlights this amazing moment where an athlete is in the middle of a 200-mile run. His body is broken, his mind is broken, his spirit is just totally shattered. And right at that rock-bottom moment of suffering, this is the exact phrase that sparks the turnaround. What if I can pull off a miracle? It's the ultimate narrative hook, right? It's this immediate, aggressive spark of defiance. It's the sheer refusal to accept the current painful reality as the final outcome. Now, this represents a fundamental mindset shift we really have to make before looking at the hard data. Normally, as human beings, we're totally wired for self-preservation. We are obsessed with the thought, well, what if I fail? But the blueprint we are exploring today demands that you flip that entirely. Like, what actually happens when you replace the terror of failure with the audacious possibility of success? What if it actually works out? What if you become the person that absolutely no one thinks you can be? When you make that mental shift, as we're about to see, the physical results become absolutely staggering. All right, so that brings us to stage one, the spark of defiance. This is where we see exactly how high achievers process negative information. Most people, they take criticism or some demoralizing statistic and they just use it as a reason to quit. But the individuals in our source material, no way. They actively take that negative input, they consume it, and they immediately reframe it into high-octane fuel for their goals. A perfect example of this is a story from our sources about a young basketball player. He sat down with a guidance counselor who looked him dead in the eye and told him he shouldn't play basketball, that he would absolutely never amount to anything. Now, for most kids, getting that from an authority figure, that's devastating. It's game over. But instead of quitting, he took that counselor's advice, flipped it, and used it to become the absolute best basketball player he could possibly be. He didn't just ignore the negativity, he literally weaponized it. Or consider this incredibly jarring quote. Our source material details the story of a man who was spraying cockroaches for an eco-lab. He's making barely $1,000 a month, and he weighs 300 pounds. He comes home one day, watches a Discovery Channel show about Navy SEALs carrying boats and logs, and just decides his life has to change. So he starts calling recruiters. 7 of them literally laugh at him. When he finally gets one to see him in person, the recruiter takes one look at this 300-pound guy and says, "You're fat and you're black." It is a direct, insulting attempt to shut him down completely. But for someone operating on this blueprint, that insult is the ultimate catalyst. Because then the recruiter hits him with this number, 35. At that time, the recruiter told him there had only been 35 African Americans who had ever made it through Navy SEAL training in over 70 years. That is a massive, mathematically terrifying wall of improbability. It is totally designed to make you walk away. But remember that core question from earlier? What if? Instead of walking away, he looked at that 70-year history and asked himself, well, what if I'm the 36th? Now, to be that 36th person, he had to meet a super strict age, height, and weight limit. He was told he had to lose 106 pounds, and because of the age cutoff, he had to do it in less than 3 months. Just thinking about that number, 106 pounds in under 90 days. It honestly sounds medically impossible. But 3 months later, he walked back into that office 106 pounds lighter. That is the staggering reality of what happens when pure defiance turns into execution. Which leads us right into stage 2, the total reorganization of life. What the source material makes incredibly clear is that chasing the impossible requires an extreme, often painful, and highly isolating level of daily sacrifice. You just cannot live a normal life and expect an abnormal result. You have to rebuild your entire existence around the goal. The sources outline two distinct paths for a young YouTuber to show this. On the left, we see the normal path. His friends are going out, they're getting these solid security jobs making $20 an hour, and when they go to university, they live in the fun, social college dorms. But on the right, we have the obsessive path. This creator volunteered instead of taking a paying job, just so he could maintain absolute control over his time for YouTube. Instead of those fun dorms, he rented a townhouse with 4 random people, simply because the dorm internet was too slow for uploading videos. And during the summer, he stayed entirely alone on a ghost campus, empty, boring, isolating, just because it was a quieter, better environment for recording. He completely reorganized his reality. And the relentless choices didn't stop there. He essentially gave up on regular schooling to stream every single day without fail. When one of his clips actually ended up going viral on World Star, it drew intense hate comments. His mother saw the negativity, couldn't understand what he was even doing, and gave him an ultimatum: quit the streaming or leave the house. Now get this, at this point he was only averaging about 20 viewers and had maybe 2,000 subscribers. For most of us, that is nowhere near enough to justify homelessness. But he said, "I'm not about to stop." He packed up, accepted getting kicked out, and moved to Detroit to live with his dad. He did all of that just to protect the momentum of those 20 viewers. And that sacrifice brings us to stage 3, the void of persistence. The source material identifies this as the agonizing middle phase, where your massive amount of effort seemingly does not match your reward at all. You've defied the odds, you've completely reorganized and sacrificed your normal life, and now you just wait. Years go by, and you are staring into a void, wondering when the math is finally going to work in your favor. And this void is painfully slow. Our YouTuber talks about the early grind. He started with literally 1 viewer. Week 2, he averaged 4 viewers. Week 3, 8 viewers. Week 4, 20 viewers. When you have sacrificed your home, your education, and your entire social life, 20 viewers feels microscopic. But staying obsessively focused on these tiny incremental gains is exactly what kept him going. He convinced himself of what he believed in, talked to his friends to reaffirm his purpose, and just kept uploading. And then, after 5, 6, 7 brutal years of grinding in the void, of wondering how much more time he could possibly spend on this thing when it still wasn't working, the climax hits. One single video finally blows up. 50,000 views. Suddenly, the total reorganization of his life is completely validated. The void is broken. The crucial mindset for surviving this void is actually pretty simple. It's this: if you don't quit, you can't lose. It's impossible, because you can just get up and try again. This is the absolute core mechanic of surviving the wait. It totally removes the emotional weight of failure and reduces success to an inevitable mathematical certainty based purely on endurance. Because think about it, as long as you maintain the capacity to try just one more time, your failure state is practically 0. All right, finally we arrive at stage 4, greatness over normalcy. Once you understand that persistence is really just a mathematical game, you have to embrace this ultimate philosophical mindset shift. This isn't just about achieving a single goal anymore. It's about fundamentally changing how you relate to the world and what you demand from your own existence. Look at this incredibly stark dichotomy from our sources: the price of winning versus the bill of regret. You essentially have 2 options in life. You can continue pushing upward, paying the agonizing price of winning, the isolation, the failure, the exhaustion, and if you do that, your dream is given birth and you forever get to live in the reality of it. Or you can stop, quit, and just throw in the towel. But our source gives a pretty chilling warning here. If you stop, that dream is dead, and in its place, you will receive the bill of regret, and there's no distance you can travel far enough to escape paying that dead-end bill. So, how do you ensure you pay the price of winning instead? Well, the source material breaks this down into an intense 3-step formula. Step 1, you have to want it as bad as you want to breathe. Step 2, you have to genuinely be willing to give it that much of yourself. If you can actually align those two extremes, step 3 is inevitable. You get a big piece of what you want, and your dreams become reality. Life and dreams really do come true, but only at that absolute maximum level of desire. Now, you might hear this and think, okay, this level of ambition borders on delusion or arrogance, but our source defines it very differently. They define this as pure confidence. It is the unwavering belief that you can make a difference, that you can be the best, and that you can achieve absolutely anything. The source uses a pretty wild example. If a successful rapper suddenly decided they wanted to quit music and go to the NBA, they firmly believe they would make it to the NBA. Not because they already have the basketball skills, but because they believe they have the capacity to do absolutely anything they set their mind to. They don't view that as arrogance at all. They view it as bulletproof confidence in their own blueprint. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative thought straight from the philosophy of high achievers. Why be normal when you can be the best? The individuals we've studied today, they didn't want to be normal. They wanted to make a difference. So I challenge you to look at your own life right now. Are you paying the price of winning, or are you secretly financing the bill of regret? Because the blueprint for the impossible is right in front of you. You just have to be willing to reorganize your life to actually build it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.